All right, I'm gonna share my screen. Let me go into test. All right, do we all see my test system? YARDI test?
Yes.
Okay, good deal. So with the last update and with the update previous to that, when you're changing an owner in YARDI, there's a different kind of way you want to do it. So I'm just gonna, since I'm in test, I'm just gonna go and pick somebody at random. Hopefully I get somebody I can use. Okay, that's not a person. All right, so we go to our family detail info screen, okay? And when we're here, we want to click on data. And we want to click on unit PHA program info. Okay. Then the next thing you want to do is click on data. And then you go to HCV unit owner. This is where we now change the owner for the unit. So you're going to want to hit new. And the status is pending until you drop it down to approve and you save it. So I say keep it at pending until you have all your information in correctly. So you have a status of pending. You have the date that the title is recorded. You do not have to fill that information out. But what you do need to know is when is the change effective? PRH is for post-rent HAP. So when is the HAP change effective? You have to put a date in there, okay? Your date should always be the first of the month if it's for an active tenant, because we pay already, right? So like, for example, this one says right here, HAP has been posted through February 28, 2022. So if I have an owner change that's supposed to go back to January 1, payments have already been paid through February. There's some questions that I need to ask before I process this change. The first question is this: if the new owner's change is effective January 1, which is before all these payments have gone out, I will ask the new owner, one, did the current landlord pay them January and February payments? Okay. Because if they gave them January and February payments, then I'm gonna put a different effective date here. If that old owner gave the new owner the rents that they received for the month of January and February, then I'm gonna start my change effective March the 1st going forward because they've already been paid. Now, if the old owner did not give the new owner those payments, then I'm going to want to make my change effective the actual date it should be, January 1, 2022. This next drop down is very important. It says retro PRH, post-rent HAP adjustments. It gives you two options. One, pay the new owner and reverse the HAP paid to the prior owner. When you choose this option, it's going to pay the new owner based off of your change effective date, and it's going to go and take back rents that have been paid to the prior owner. So in this case, if the landlord is saying that the old owner did not give them the money, and I contact the old owner and they said, no, they didn't, then I'm going to put in here, reverse, pay the new owner and reverse. So that's going to create a negative adjustment for the old owner so that money can be recouped, okay? Now, this one right here says pay new owner and prior owner keeps HAP. If you don't need to take back any money, then you're going to use that option. Now, if the old owner gave them the money, there's no reason why we should be saying pay new owner and prior owner keeps tap from January, because then that's gonna, the old owner got January, February payment, and then he gets to keep it or she gets to keep it, and we turn around and pay the new owner. So that's multiple subsidy, right? So if I change my date to 3/1, it doesn't give me this option. See, any future dates doesn't give me that drop down option. Do we all see that? Does anybody need clarity on that part? Yeah, we shouldn't be using effective dates like middle of the month. And that stuff is going to prorate those payments, right? We usually pay through the end of the month. I mean, we usually pay for the whole month. So when the owner submits a change, we'll just let them know that the change will be effective for, you know, the month, the first of the month. All right, so I'm gonna keep going. So over here, you want to get to legal owner and you want to click new. And then we're going to put the new owner's name in, right? So just choose Marvin. So now we got the new legal owner, which is Marvin Cook. So now the HAP recipient is going to be who we've entered as the legal owner. So I'm going to say legal owner. And the correspondence is going to be the same, legal owner. And I'm just going to hit save. This still is in process because it's in pending status. But what it's showing you there is we have effective 3/1/2022, a new owner, which is Marvin Cook, who's supposed to start getting the payments. And it shows in pending status down here. It's not approved yet. If you need to make any changes, you know, this will be the time. In order to approve it so that it takes effect, you're going to click the drop down and click approved. And then hit save. You notice I can't delete it, okay? But if you go, if you happen to make a mistake before payment goes out, usually you can kind of hit the edit button, change it back to pending status, and now I can delete it. But this can only be done before if we haven't done any transaction, any payment, okay? Once it's been paid, it's set in stone. We've had a lot of issues with dates being wrong. We couldn't go back and recoup the money, and it creates a mess. So that's why I want to show you this, because when you're coming to this part, honestly, I would say talk to a supervisor first before you even process it, or at least keep it in pending status, and then shoot the supervisor or me an email so we can review it, because it can mess up our post-rent when we processing payments. Then we run into an issue where we need to take money back from one owner and give it to the next owner. And it's not an easy process in Yardi. We're having to cut manual checks. It's a drawn out process, okay? So again, if it's in pending status, you have to approve it and hit save for it to process. If you made a mistake and we haven't done a payment yet, in order to go and revert it back so that you can possibly delete it, you have to edit the status, and then you have to click edit and take the status back to pending and hit save. So if you hit edit and just hit pending and don't hit save, you're like, well, Shakisha said a delete button is supposed to pop up. Why is my delete button not popping up? You gotta hit save. I know it's gonna happen. So, but you have to hit save, then you can just delete it. Okay. And it's gone. So I'm gonna do it one more time. I'm gonna put it back in here. I'm gonna put it in effective 1/1/2022. And I am going to say, let me make sure it's something, because pay new owner. Now it's gonna pay from. Take y'all through it. Let's go and look here. I'm gonna just go ahead and approve it. So I chose to pay new owner, right? And I said, let the old owner keep the half. I'm going to my review 5.8 and I'm going to my resident subsidy schedule. Oh, this is tiny. Okay. So what you'll see here is when I said pay new owner and prior owner keeps half, now for January it's paying Marvin. Also, East River got January. Okay. So we don't want to do that. We want to make sure we take the payment back because the both owners shouldn't be paid for the same month. Okay, so I just want to show you all this on the subsidy schedule. It's not creating a negative adjustment to take it back. It's actually just going ahead and paying the new owner those rents. Do we see that right here? Because I'm about to close this and go back and edit it. Does anybody have any questions before I go back from here? So now I'm going to change this to pay new owner and reverse half paid to the previous owner. Hit save. Oh, I need to approve it. And now I'm going to go back again and look at my my resident subsidy schedule. And now we have a negative adjustment here for the month of January for East River Holding. We have a positive for Marvin Cook for the month of January, right? So it says owner change. Whenever you see SCHD, AMT, that just means like the scheduled amount. So that's the scheduled amount. This was an owner change. So that was a disruption in addition, you know, it wasn't just the scheduled amount. It was a, I'm trying to see if there was another action up here, but that was the owner change. Posted means it's already paid out. So anything you see that says posted, that means it's paid already. Approved means it's approved to pay out on the next payment, or it's just approved to pay out. So it hasn't paid out yet and it should go out. You got your effective date, the time frames. I think this is just your EFT numbers, and then you have your owner and you have HAP. You'll only see HAP here and ERP if the tenant gets an ERP distribution. So we're taking back from East River and we're paying out Marvin for those 2 months. Okay. Also going to show you really quickly. If you don't put a date in the retro portion, it was on the paper. I think you have to put an effective date, but let's see while we're in here. That was a question I got about the effective date, right? We're talking effective date. Because the question was, if you don't put an effective date in there, then will it just payment just generate going forward to the next after whatever has paid out already, has posted already. So let's see. Resident subsidy. So if you do not put an effective date, you don't have those drop down options if you're needing to recoup payments, and it will just proceed after, it'll just go out after the last payment date. But remember, if we're needing to recoup money, then you want to use that back date. And even in this case, you can also, I guess this will work too if the previous owner had already gave the new owner the money. But I would definitely say, probably for tracking purposes too, it might be a good idea to use those dates if you have them. And I'm going to show you one more thing here. Excuse me. If you make the change, I did the 15th of the month. I don't even have to come all the way there. Yeah, I don't know why I do that. I could put my resident subsidy schedule from this page. I'm so used to going to that 50058 screen. So now what you have is you have a prorate. So if you see when I did 115 is the change, we have a prorated amount. I mean, honestly, like I said, because we usually pay through the entire, we pay for the whole month and we generally don't prorate. If you have a change, I would definitely try to do that change, made as of the first of the month or whatnot. If you need to make it middle of the month or so on, I don't know that that's going to be an issue. It'll still hit the report for the payments for the landlords, the payments that the landlord owe. But I just say try to make your changes, try to keep it consistent with, a first of the month change or whatnot. Does anybody have any questions about this?
Shakisha, I have a comment, I guess. We've definitely got quite a few of these. Usually they come to me and Daphne. I would say in the past, in order to give these new landlords some good customer service, we've tried to go ahead and take care of these if it's sporadic, but it has grown to be more and more. Do you have any, Shakisha, I guess, could you tell everyone about the paperwork as far as what we need to have in order to know this is a legal transaction, as far as the verbiage on the deed, things like that?
Yeah, so let me actually show you. So whenever we have an owner who is either new to the program or who is wanting to, new to the program, pretty much, because they're going to need ownership paperwork. Or if they're changing something, there's a series of forms that we have to have from them, okay? And those forms are definitely going to be, I'm going to show you all the forms. Let me just go ahead. All right, so does everybody see this W-9? Or do you still see YARDI?
See the W-9.
Okay. An owner, there's a series of documents that an owner must provide. And I like to send this nifty little email. Do y'all see my email?
Yes.
Okay. So generally, when we get inquiries about owners who want to be on the program or if they need to change information, this is basically the email that I usually send out to them. And it's to let them know the information that we need to collect. In order for us to create a vendor on the program, we have to have we want proof of ownership, okay? Proof of ownership to show that they actually own the unit. If they don't own the unit, then we need some type of management agreement, because usually if they don't own the unit, then they're managing the property. So you need a management agreement between the owner and the management company, okay? So we need proof of ownership, which is going to be a deed. I always go to, let me see. So we go to Davidson County Assessor's Office. And I might, if I'm moving too fast, y'all, I'm sorry, just tell me slow down. But we go to Davidson County Assessor's Office and we go to real property search. I do a simple search. You agree? You can check by the owner or you can check by the unit. I think this was one of the ones. What was that lady said? Put anything in here, y'all. Three, two, one. Okay. So just okay. So when you don't have to type in the full name, but you type in down here, you got the name of the street and then the address. So then the house will show up down here. You just click on it. And then right here, there's a form that says view deed. So, and this, you don't have to go this far. I'm just showing you what a deed looks like, or information that you'll see on here, right? So in this case, I'm pulling this one up because the actual owner died, okay? The owner of this unit, she died. However, if you notice right here, it says that she's bargained, sold, and do by hereby convey, remise, release, and forever quit claim unto the said Ethel L. Loud as trustee of the Loud Trust dated September 21, 2021. So basically, this property now is in trust. Okay. What's happened, and I'm just going to say with this one, we've gotten change of ownership form for this property. And we have individuals, two separate individuals, because I want to say there's two properties under this deed. There's another one too. So she's got two. You can see right here, she's got lot 54 and 58. But there's more properties that she has. So we've had two individuals who are stating that they are now the owners of these properties because she has passed away. However, right here, and maybe a new deed hasn't been recorded, but this deed right here shows that the owner is the trust. So in this case, there would need to be additional documentation requested so that we could even pay this person who's coming to say, oh, I own this property now, because the deed doesn't reflect that. So now the question is, are they able to accept payments on behalf of the trust? Are they the overseer of the trust? So, but this is what a quit claim deed looks like. Your deeds will all look differently, but proof of ownership can be a deed. It can be a copy of their HUD 1 settlement statement, which is they get it closing. It just shows all of the closing costs and stuff, and it says HUD settlement. It says HUD-1 settlement document. So any kind of proof of ownership is what they're going to need first. Where's my email? So proof of ownership. They also going to need a social security card or their EIN award notification letter. So the letter that comes from the IRS that says, you know, what their EIN number is, if they're doing it as a business structure. But it has to match whatever they enter on their W-9. So that's why I showed you this W-9. They have to put their name, If it's a business name here, they'll put that here. They have to check off what type of business it is, address, city, state, and zip. Sometimes what we've gotten is the W-9 address matches the address of the tenant. They can't have the same address. So you want to look at those kinds of things. Their taxpayer identification number. If they enter a social security number in here, we need a copy of their social security card. If they enter their EIN, employer identification number, we need a copy of that EIN award notification letter from the IRS. They got to turn that form in with this paper. We also need that social security card or EIN must match the W-9. They got to do the W-9. We need the direct deposit form. And Norman sent everybody packets a while ago. Y'all have these landlord packets that he sent out. It has all of this stuff in the packet. So everybody should be well aware, but they have to do this direct deposit form. My new hires are probably the only ones that don't have that information that he sent out. And they also have to complete attach a voided check or something from the bank verifying the routing number and the account number. That's the reason for the voided check or something from the bank, because their handwriting, sometimes they can transpose numbers. We just need to make sure that we have the right information in there. And then the vendor form. The vendor form is twofold. So they're basically just filling this out and stating, again, their address, their phone number, where their mailing stuff is going to, stuff like that. Also, if a landlord needs to make a change, a current landlord needs to make a change to their address or to their phone number or to their email or whatnot, they can do it through the landlord portal, or they can submit one of these change forms. But we have to get, if they're asking us to update something, they have to send it in writing. And it can't be from if it's from an email address, if they just send us an email saying, change my email to this, and the email address that they send it from does not match the one that we currently have in the system, they gotta do it in writing. They need to do that vendor change form. Write a letter, something, but we just need something verifying that it is them, because also we've been victims of phishing and spam and stuff like that. So we've gotten emails from email addresses that look like the owner's email, but it's not. Okay, so that's why it's important that they fill out something, a document or whatnot. So they'll turn in this information. Like I said, this is and I always send I send a guide to them. These are for new owners. If they just want more information, I send them a link to the website, and then I give them about the program. But again, the packet that Norman sent, that landlord packet, has all that information in there. So this is what we get when we have new owners. When those new owner packets come in, if it's complete, you can forward it to a supervisor, and then we forward it on to finance to create the vendor code. We just don't want finance getting a lot of emails from everybody. When there's a change, there's only a certain amount of people here that can send those emails to finance, or there are. I know Daryl does, Daphne does, me, LaDon, Norman, etc. Are there any questions about this vendor part?
Shakisha, I have a question. Okay, so at no point should we come across a vendor when we're doing that ownership change where we're selecting them, their name will be in there because this part would have already been done, correct?
I'm sorry, say that again to Paris. Say that one more time for me.
Okay, on the part where we're selecting the legal owner, when we're doing the ownership change, it should never be a time where their owner is not in there because this part would have already been done, correct? So if we can't find them, then we need to forward it to somebody else.
Yeah, so if the property was sold and the new landlord is not in our system, then they need to go through this process. So we can create a vendor account for them. And then that's how they get in the system. So it's a possibility that there will be a new owner that may not have a vendor account created because they have not previously rented to somebody in our program.
Okay, thank you.
Did that answer the question?
Somewhat. If they're not in there, then this is the part that needs to be done, just to clarify, correct?
Yes, and there's a series of ways to see is an owner in, you know, if we're in Yardi and we go to, I'm on the home screen, if we just go to vendor and review, and then you just hit the vendor link right here, you can start to type in the name. Like if it's Marvin Cook, I just know him, like, okay, so boom, he's in there. But if it's Mary Had a Little Lamb, and I started to type that in and it doesn't come up, then I know, well, Mary she's not even a vendor in our system. So now I need to send these documents to Mary to complete so that we can create a vendor in Yardi for her and then link them together. But whenever this does happen, we want to make sure we're stopping payments too, so that payments don't keep going out to the incorrect owner.
That answered it for me. Thank you.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions about this information? Or something else that you want me to show you while we're on?
Shakisha, this is Charlene. Do we create the vendor, the new vendor in Yardi, or does finance?
No, what you do is when you get all the documents, collect all the documents from the vendor, you send them to your supervisor. And then the supervisor, or between the supervisor, between me, LaDon, Daryl, Daphne, we forward it to finance. Finance creates the vendor account. Finance then gives us a vendor code for them, and then we in turn give it back to you, give you the vendor code so you can make the update. Isabel, I just want to say, please note that email I just forwarded you, the only thing that's missing off of there is or copy of management agreement if applicable. That's one of my bullet points that I left off of there.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. All right, no recaps. We got property assessor's office for deeds. We can see who owners are. We know what documents our owners need. Also, just FYI, all this stuff, I want to say, is on our website. If you go to nashville-mdha.org, click on housing and go under rental assistance voucher program. On this main screen, that is where we have information such as the caseload listing. You have fraud reporting forms. You have your payment standards. We have an RTA out there. We have our utility allowances, a few other resources, okay? Legal aid, human rights, fair housing. When we get those questions that we just don't always know the answer to, or we need to redirect them somewhere, we have a lot of information on this page. When you click on owners from this page, then they've got downloads about the program. The direct deposit form is on here. This landlord packet, when you click on that, that is the packet that Norman has sent out to everybody. So it's accessible here. It basically tells, about the program, what they need to do down here, what happens before an inspection, the information that the landlord needs to submit in order to be on the program. And it also has the forms attached. So it makes it a lot simpler. I will show you, it's already on there. Let me, one moment. So W9 is already highlighted. So just pointing this out to y'all, this information is here, okay? Inspection information, briefing documents for landlord, because we did give landlords information about the program. If they want to mutually terminate the lease, that form is here. Rent increase request form is here. If they need to make a change, vendor record change is here, okay? There was a question about a vacate to notice form. Your vacate to notice form is going to be under tenants. Now, it's a little buried, Okay, and I say it's buried because when you click on tenants and you come here, so they got their change of address form, they've got the interim change form is here. If they want to port out, landlords that accept Section 8 vouchers, portability procedures, release of information is here. Rent Cafe online instructions is here. RTA is here for them, and the household member is here. You know, you're right as a renter. So this is the thing. You want to go to relocating and portability information. When they go to relocating and portability, they have to read, and we might have to create a separate link, but right here it says, please fill out part 1 of the notice to vacate form. C, relocation notice to vacate. The thing is, this is purple, it's clickable. So when they click on that, that's what brings them to their notice to vacate. So a couple of things you can do, you can either download the form, save it, or you can just kind of like save the link and send the link to your tenant or to whoever it is that you're speaking with. But that's where your notice to vacate form is. It's buried. You also have your portability request that's there right here at the bottom. That's where their port request is. Yes, definitely not just sticking out saying, hey, I'm gonna notice to vacate. But any other questions about this or about our website or about moving new owners? Yeah, remember, make sure you stop payment whenever you get that paperwork. And whenever you get that email from that landlord or whoever that says that they don't own you no more and contact such and such or such will be calling you, first things first, stop those payments. Stop, because a lot of times we keep payments going out. It's the last thing we do. We start trying to contact the owner. We start trying to contact the owner, and then we get sidetracked. We contact the tenant. And I don't know. And we forget to stop those payments sometimes. Then we have to go back and send the landlords letters and sometimes it's hard to get that money back from these owners. Chrissy shaking her head up there. Yeah, it's hard. Especially when they don't have any tenants. If they don't have any more tenants on the program, we don't have no money. We don't have any money to recoup from. So we're literally having to send them letters like we send the tenants and possibly send them to credit collection, to Robinson, Reagan and Young.
I do want to say something. That's why it's very important to ask the current landlord if any payments have been forwarded to them, because it's a collaboration to get them two landlords to work together. And a lot of times the previous landlord will provide proof that, hey, I forwarded them these checks. Here's the checks that cleared my account. And then you got to go back to the current landlord and try to get that money back from them.
Yeah. And I just want to throw it out there too. You know, we got emergency housing vouchers going on. I've been seeing some emails in the Section 8 inbox from people who've just been really going through some adverse times right now, houses burned down and stuff. Remember, y'all can refer people to Metro. What did I just say? Yeah, I just literally had it in my mind. Metro Social Services. Refer them to Metro Social Services. If they can at least try to call there and get linked up, they might be able to get some help. Metro Social Services, Metro Action, Catholic Charities for Rental Help, stuff like that, okay? A lot of people are going through it right now. We can't just give them vouchers and that's what they want, but we can definitely try to get them, connected to services.
Keisha, I have a question.
Yes.
How do you update when the landlord has many properties on the program? Got many different tenants. we set up the account, how's that, because obviously each space is not updating their own tenant for this new landlord, so how's that done in finance? You got 4 or 5 land properties, Reggie can have one, Barry Bond can have one, but they don't individually going to change it for their tenant, right? Or they do?
Yes. So here's the thing, if it's a landlord, that normally they'll let us know, right? That they don't own a property anymore. If they have, we need to see how many properties they have. Because sometimes they don't sell all of them. So it might, if they sold all of them, then we do have to go and make the change individually. Now, there's a batch update. You all don't have access to that. And I think that would be something that I would have to do, or Norman would have to do. And I want to say I go here, and I go here, and I go here, and I go here, and that's not where I go, and I go here, and I go, no, that's when I'm updating rent, sorry. There's a batch owner update too. Shoot. Yeah, when I'm not doing it,
I think the most I've had was maybe 4, and I had to go to each tenant and update each account. But if it was more than that, I was going to forward everything to the specialist. I'm not doing all that.
yeah, here it is. So it's a function. So function, HCV unit owner, batch update, HCV unit owner. So for example, we
We
know
can't
that.
see what you're doing.
Oh, Lord. Thank you. Thank you, Candy. I did stop sharing, boom. Now we here, right? Y'all see my Yardi again. Y'all see Yardi?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I go from functions, okay? And I would definitely say consult with a supervisor before doing this, or to do this with. But we go to functions, HCV unit owner, batch update. I went kind of fast. I wasn't trying to click. Batch update, HCV unit owner, okay? You type in your owner's name, and then I'm gonna hit filter first because I want to see if all his stuff is gonna pop up first. This one might take a while because Marvin has a lot of units on the program. I wonder if it's doing that because I didn't fill out all of those things. It shouldn't though. I want to stop the process now. All right, there we go. Action. So there's 460 units on here, right? For Marvin. And some of these are not necessary. Some of these are rent comp. They still just tied to his name. And then some of these are regular VO units. So let's just say that I was going to change it to I was thinking about Ray Hester. He's with a company though, huh? First National, right? I'm trying to think of a landlord. Why I can't? So let's just say we wanted to make a change. Then you can actually just go down, and I want to say you can choose the ones, Daryl. Like you can isolate them. And then you'll hit validate. And again, I don't think it would take this long if it's somebody who doesn't have this many people. Lisa, that wasn't for you. Sorry. And as long as this is taken, if we did have to change Marvin's units, I would rather wait this long to be able to check a box than to have to go and look up each person individually and change them manually. So it's a cool trade-off. All right, so when it validated, now I put my check marks at the top. And I don't know why it's oh my God, what did I just do? Yeah, I just one more time. I wasn't trying to do that. I was trying to hit post and I hit the wrong thing. So we'll wait for it to do this one more time and I'll hit post and then you'll see how it changes them all at once. But Daryl, does this seem like it's more helpful than?
Yes, we do get a lot of these where there's multiple units. I just want to, I don't feel comfortable going into the batch update, but I guess in the past I have gone in there and just did each individual person instead of emailing 4 different specialists to do their own. It was just more of a customer service thing to make sure it's consistent. It was getting done at the same time. But it does happen, quite often where it's multiple units.
Well, here's another thing too. You're not comfortable going in and making a change, but that's the reason why we have the test system. So for everything that you do, I always go and test first. Try it and test because you can't mess anything up. Try it and test, pull your people up, try checking it and hitting post. The only other reason why it's still good to send it to, I send it to the specialist after the fact is because the landlords usually want a letter. They want to know what their rent portion is going to be. So then what I do is I send to the specialist, or if it's just one, I might just go ahead and add an interim. And I'm adding an interim just so I can generate a notice, a lease amendment letter to send to the landlord so that they know that effective, this date they are receiving, these are the rent portions that they're going to be getting. Okay, so now I'm gonna hit post. I got my check marks. I just checked off this whole page. So when you hit the check mark button, That just checks the whole page, but then you gotta scroll to the next page if you want more people. I'm just gonna hit post. And it says YARDIPHA.com says confirm post owner changes for selected units. I'm saying, okay. I wish there's a way like through this recording that I could like speed up these parts so that when I send you all out these recordings, it'll go like really fast when it's doing all this thinking. But
I wasn't trying to hold everybody up. I was just curious.
I don't know that I had the time to even try to sit around and play with it to speed up, you know, because I have to do a lot of kind of cutting and stuff like that. And yeah, I could fast forward. Like I said, I probably should have chosen someone with not so many properties, but I couldn't think of an owner that had individual properties like this that's still on the pro. I could have did First Nashville, I guess. Crazy. While it's thinking again, is any questions coming to anybody's mind right now? Okay, nothing. Who knows how, when you get a landlord and they want to know when their payments, if they missing a payment or they missing a statement, who knows how to go on there and give the landlord their statement? Who knows where to find the statement to send to the landlord? Does anybody know where to go to print a landlord's statements? Okay. I kind of can't take you there yet because I'm a little tied up in Yardi right now. But that'll be like the last thing I'll show you, then I'll let you all go. Daryl, any other questions? That's gonna have us in this situation? No, I'm
I'm
playing.
scared to ask another one. This is taking so long.
Has everybody checked their junk inbox, their junk emails to get their emails out of there? Who, like, by the time you checked your junk inbox, you had like a lot of emails in there and you were just like, oh my God, I did not know that they were going here. Nobody? So y'all only had like 2-3 emails in your junk inbox?
No, I get them all the time.
Oh my God, I got an error, y'all. Okay. All right, so long story short, that's what happens, okay? We don't always get the error, and I think because it was thinking for so long, then that's what caused the error. But once we did the batch update, it will automatically assign the owner to the new owner to the property. I'm not going back through it. I'm actually just going to see if something will come up with First Nashville. They don't have nearly as many units, so I would hope that it wouldn't take as long. But just trying to see if there's any like new dates there, if it actually processed what we just did. But the process is correct. You go to functions, you do the batch update, and you can isolate the units in which you want to change the owner. So you can do them all, or you can just do a few at a time. And again, keep in mind that some owners don't let go of all their properties. So you want them to definitely identify which all units they have sold, if they have multiple units. If they'll tell you they sold everything, or they will say, oh, I sold 27-0 Tampa, and I sold this one on whatever. You could just be that this is moving slowly today. I don't know what, I can't even. I really just want to stop this. Stop. I want y'all to be thinking about your processes, right? The things that you do every day, this one back, and think about your processes and think about ways that can be implemented that will make it easier. Like if it's automation or something like that. Yardi does a lot, but let's start thinking about things like, oh, it would be easier if I could just do this, or if I could do that. You never know what options are out there. And so because we don't always do the work, you know, there's things that we don't always come up against, but if you can think of something, man, please shoot it to me. Let me know. So now I'm finna go back into when the landlord wants to know where their statement. Oh, I'm missing money, or I didn't get paid or whatnot. So when the landlord wants to see their ledger or what they were paid, let me make sure I'm going to the right thing. Why does my stuff keep highlighting? Okay. Yeah. So under functions, does everybody have functions under their options over here to the side? Everybody has functions, right?
Yes.
But do you have PHA financial?
Yes.
I don't even think that's the right one, y'all. Hold on, let me make sure. Right, that's not the right one. No, under reports. Reports and then financial reports. Y'all have reports and then go financial reports. We got these two, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So then do we have payment reports? I need y'all to come on, somebody be coming off mute and keep me going so we can get through this. I know y'all are muted right now, but payment reports.
Yes.
Okay, then do we all see this? Do you all have the same options that I have? Landlord payment detail, payment detail, payment detail statement, payment EFT statement, payment summary, and PHA payment summary. Do y'all have all of those options?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so just kind of navigating through each of them, right? We'll start with landlord payment detail. So when you're in here, I don't think it was this one. So the bank is always going to be section 8. Let me just let me move through this first before I tell y'all to do this. Because each one shows something different, okay? Okay. So this way, it just shows like a list of all the payments. So we did January. You see, it didn't go like 1/1/2022 to 1/31. It was just the whole month, right? So it had 1/2022 to 1/2022. So these first set of payments are going to be for just the first payment in January. Down here, this is for a mid-month. Okay. So oftentimes you might have a landlord say, I didn't get paid, or I'm missing money for somebody. But when you go to your 50058 and you see payments gone out, when you go to review 58 or your resident subsidy schedule, you see that the payment was made for the tenant. Now, sometimes you got to look at maybe when you add in an action to see, well, did it pay out on the 1st or the 15th? You know, did I miss the first check run? And so I know that next payment would have went out on the mid-month. If it went out on the mid-month, like this lady down here, Sarah Hall, for example, or these, you'll see, that's where you'll see like negatives. Sometimes landlords get 0 payment statements. And what happened is, if we're having to recoup from another tenant, we can only recoup payments that they're getting made, right? So we can only pull back from money that they're getting. So they might have gotten paid for Tara, but they might owe us for Johnny. So if they owe us for Johnny, we're going to take the money out of the money for Tara. So it looks to them like they didn't get paid for Tara, but they did. They just need to so they had already been paid for Johnny, period. That's why we come in and taking it back. So they already have the money. We're just taking it back from a future payment. Did I just confuse y'all? This is what payment detail looks like. This isn't what I would send the owner, okay? I'm gonna just stick with PEDCOR though. So if I go back again to reports, financial reports, payment reports, now I'm gonna go to payment detail. That's to say, it looks the same way, right? Let's see what the difference is. I just want to see, because we've got multiple in here, so we're gonna go through them. So same thing. The only difference, well, let me go back. Let me see something. Okay, this is a different account. There. I was like, why does that look? PEDCOR has 2 different numbers. So these 2 look the same, right? So we know for sure that landlord payment detail and payment detail are the same, okay? So now I'm gonna go to payment detail statement. Now payment detail statement asks for, you're gonna have to put a check date in. it's a little different, right? So we're looking for payments from January 1 through the end of the month. The vendor, there's no bank, won't have to put a bank here. That's gonna give you this kind of statement. Okay. When you have this kind of statement, you can PDF it. And you can send this to your owner. Now this one does show first of the month and mid-month transactions. I typically send their statements in an Excel spreadsheet so that they can sort. So it does give you the option to download in Excel. I usually do it in Excel so that when they get it, they can do whatever their accounting department needs to do versus a PDF. That was payment details statement. If I go to payment EFT statement, I'm going to do the same person. I'm going to use the same dates. That one don't like this. Let me see. So this one isn't generating anything, which is weird. Did I use 2022 last time or 2021? Let me see. No, I used 2022. So that one is not giving anything. And it's probably because I might have this date wrong. This one might want more specific information as to when the actual well, payment date was 1/1. No. Okay, this one ain't giving me anything, so we won't use that one. Payment summary. So I think that's gonna be the same thing. So I'm gonna just say, we know that if you want to send a landlord their statement, we want to use payment detail statement. Okay. I'm gonna have to see why this isn't working because I feel like that normally works in live. Okay, it does work in live. Maybe it's an issue with test because all right, so it might be something with just the test system, okay? Because this does work here, but yeah. So it's got everything on there. It's got your mid-month payments on there and everything. So you just have a few options. Generally, they give you all the same information, but I would just say run it that way and you can send that to the owner. And that's how they're able to see the payments that they miss. I know a lot of times I get the emails, the landlord to say, hey, I'm missing money. And, the first thing that everybody knows to do is to go to resident subsidy schedule and say, oh, but it's been paid out already. You got paid. But the landlord is saying, I didn't get paid. I didn't get the money. And you're like, well, it shows it went out. Go look at the ledger, look at the landlord's actual payment for the month and see if it was recouped for overpayment for somebody else. Because sometimes that is the case. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to stop sharing. And again, any other questions? I've held y'all longer than I anticipated. I apologize. But does anybody have any other questions about anything, about any of this information? And just going forward, I know we have these meetings every other Tuesday. As things come up, that's when I try to have these Zoom meetings with you all to try to train on some information. Because there's still, so definitely anticipate when we have these meetings to kind of hang out for maybe an hour with me or whatnot, and we'll go over just different things, and you're already looking at HAP registers, just getting all the information, because a lot of times I feel like you all are not given the information that you can utilize, and you're coming to us for stuff that you can actually do on your own, but nobody just really showed you how to do it. If nobody has any other questions or concerns, you can always email me after this and let me know. If you have things that you want me to talk about or discuss, please email me and let me know. But I am going to let you all go. Thank you. And y'all enjoy your day.
Thank you.